We have everybody. Okay.
Okay, so let's call this special meeting to order at, what time is it?
5:33.
5:33.
What we got here?
All right. Can I get someone to make a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor of the agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those
Aye.
opposed?
I'm not even voting.
Okay.
Just so excited.
And then we also have to have RNESU do the same thing, right?
Correct.
Okay. So,
I move to accept the agenda from RNESU.
I gotta call the meeting to order first, please. Sorry. All right. We're calling the meeting to order for RNESU at the same time at 5:33. Can I get someone to make a motion to approve the agenda for RNESU? And you just did that, right? Kevin?
Yeah.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Barbara. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, perfect. Great. What's the next thing on our agenda, since I don't have that in front of me?
I think it's just the education support personnel, the ESP, education support.
Nice. Can I see that, please?
Oh, yes. sure.
Thank you very
Agenda,
much.
Sure.
Yes, love it.
To ratify the,
All right, communications with parents, citizens, and staff. Is anybody here to talk to the RNESU and Otter Valley Board? Yes. Okay, yeah, all right. You can go. All right. Just state your name first and where you're from.
Corey Parks. I live in Sudbury.
Great.
Sorry, can you tell me how to spell your name, please?
K-L-O-R-B-E-P-A-R-K-S.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Hi. So, some of you know me, some of you don't. I did graduate from here, and I casually sub when I have a day off, or just if it's really needed. Sometimes I'll take the day and sub here. And today I was here, and I was subbing, and I was subbing in the middle school. And I know, I feel like it's kind of like kicking just a rock, like down, just like a road. It's like, yeah, I know you guys are well aware of like the behavior happening in the school. And I today experienced a atrocious level of behavior that is just like, should not be allowed ever. Like, I graduated 4 years ago, and the rapid decline of just the rules, the expectations, like just everything from just like the student standpoint in general is just, it's insane to me. Like, I don't understand how that could happen so quickly. And I've been subbing for 2 years. And today, I very quickly decided I would probably never sub again. Because I had a student today, it was like 9:50 in the morning, like that's when the class started, and I was subbing for Miss Schaefer, so she's the 8th grade science teacher, and it looked like a really mellow day. Like, a lot of sub plans have just like a pre-warning of certain students, and like this student should have never been on my radar. And they had a packet, and it was a very short reading of what they should have been doing. Very straightforward, and I like told them, like, everybody gets one warning. Like, I don't feel like I should have to keep speaking if there's not a lot of work to be done. And so like I was like just keeping like a bird's eye view of everybody. Like, I kept speaking to the student, like, you have to stop, you have to do your work, you have to stop, you have to do your work. Like, please turn off your computer, like you can't use it anymore. Please, you're not using it appropriately. And then finally, like, I walked up to the student's table, and I was like, if you don't want to work in here, you have to go to the planning room. Like, you're disrupting the entire class at this point. And the student decided to use some very foul language towards me. And so as I'm walking away, the student proceeded to carry on, even though I didn't respond. Like, I didn't react, didn't even, because it does nothing. Like, reacting to that does nothing. And the student then proceeded to tell me to kill myself, and then continued with the awful language. And I'm on the phone to the planning room, and I was like, the whole group needs to go. Like, they all need to go. And so as the student is escorted out of the classroom by the planning room, there are 4 planning room teachers who are now blocking the door because the student is now threatening to put their hands on me. So it's like, how is that possible? So like, I'm writing an incident report because the planning room then came back during the free period. It was like, can you write about it? And I'm like, absolutely. Like, they had to send the student home. And then like when I met with and spoke to whoever was in the planning room, I felt like, you know, it was excuse after excuse after excuse. Like, it's not their fault. Like, you know, a student who openly said to them they did not understand why they were in trouble is alarming. And it's should not ever be happening. Like, they're 14, some are 13, like, it's crazy. Like, it's so crazy to me. And like, you know, the planning room teacher was like, they want to do some, like, we want to encourage some like restorative work, and I'm like, absolutely not. Like, the student was supposed to be back in my class like later that day, and it's like, if the student wasn't sent home and they were just sent to the planning room, because I did experience, I was sending kids out every class. They were returning for another class later that day. So it's like, if they didn't test, like, if he was a threat, they were like, well, he's not a threat to you. Well, yes, he was, because he was threatening to use his body on mine. Like, that's alarming to me. And I do work with kids full-time. I'm a full-time nanny, and this is not age-appropriate behavior. And it's just like the multiple excuses of, you know, we did this, we did that, like, there's this wrong, or there's that wrong. It's, no, like, where is the accountability? And I feel like there is absolutely none. And I feel like it's a humongous ask to ask people who live in the district to sub here and like people who don't. And it's truly not safe. And it's like, I can see every day how many people are called out and nobody's filling these positions. And it's like, I'm not trained to deal with that behavior. I'm literally trained to sit in the classroom and hand out paper. It's not safe at all. Like, it's really, really not safe.
Okay. All right. Have you talked to did you talk to the principal at all?
No.
Okay, all right. I am gonna ask, that Renee look into this for you, and then get back in touch with you.
I appreciate you guys hearing me out.
No,
Because
absolutely,
it's
well, yeah,
something that needs to be-
yeah, so I'm sure Renee is gonna talk to you. Great. Okay,
Thanks
Right.
for coming, Clary.
yeah, thanks for coming in, we do appreciate that. Did you want, hi,
Yes.
okay,
I'm Jody Sheehy. It's Jodie, last name Sheehy. I am from Chittenden, and I am here, my husband and I have come to a couple meetings at Barstow as well as here, looking to have the policy regarding early entry to kindergarten reviewed. We have a child who is turning 5 September, and we would like that policy to be reviewed with the possible option of allowing children into kindergarten early if they meet certain criteria. I know that there's other districts in Vermont that do allow that and allow a process to appeal. We have gone as far as we could with asking for pre-K to be full-time. We've asked for pre-K to be split up at Barstow with 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds separately, and none of that has come to fruition, so we are now asking for the policy to be reviewed and potentially amended to allow for that opportunity.
okay. That is an RNESU, issue. This, right now, is a joint meeting with OVU and RNESU for a different matter, but we will make sure that goes onto the agenda. We can review it at next meeting. We have reviewed it a couple times already, but since that,
You've reviewed it recently?
oh, well, we reviewed it when your husband was here the last time,
Yeah.
and told him that we would not be able to accommodate having a full-time pre-K, because we wouldn't be able to do it for all of our kids in all of our districts. But we can review the policy at our next board meeting of our RNESU, which would be, we have a meeting tonight, but we would not review it until next month.
Okay.
And then about your issue. I'm not sure that anything will change, though. I mean, we don't want to set the precedent of allowing, all, you know, kids to start kindergarten before the September 1st date. That has been our policy so far. But we can review it again and see if anything has changed in that time in talking with the administration.
Yeah, and Renee, I just wanted to follow up though, because you had said that you might be able to get us an answer sooner than this being reviewed at the next meeting.
So we did our first communication, as I had mentioned, that with the central office. Tomorrow we meet with the principals, then it'll be, the principals will have to go back to their campuses.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, then we will move on. Let's see, governance process. We have the ratify the Education Support Professional Master Agreement. Can I get someone to make a motion, please?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Leslie. Is there a second? Second. Thank you, Barbara. We also need to have the same thing happen from RNESU. Can I get someone to make a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Ethan. Is there a second?
Second.
Leo, right? Leo, thank you. Okay, discussion. Renee, do you want to talk about it first, or have Brenda talk about it?
Sure. I would say that I'm very pleased in the way that we were able to accomplish this agreement fairly quickly. And I appreciate the work that Brett and Leslie participated. Kevin, I think, were you in the last one too? Or were you on the teachers?
We just missed it.
He just missed it. We were just very fast. And Brenda will share some of the criteria that we were able to establish with our educational service professionals. But I think we have been able to bring them further along with not just salary, but with also several benefits that we ourselves are catching up to our neighbors, but also extending some of the professional courtesy that I think that they should receive from their employer. And I'm very proud that we were able to do that. So, Brenda? Yeah.
Okay. So we kind of entered the negotiations with our goal was for fair compensation, and making sure that we align with our neighbors, because that's the best way to get highly qualified people and loyal people who stay with us. And that was important. And then also to value our team. So our changes, overall, the contract settles at, just to remind everyone who's in the contract, so it is local paraprofessionals in Otter Valley, special education paraprofessionals who are employed by Rutland Northeast but serve all schools, including Barstow, custodians in Otter Valley and Rutland Northeast, because we have a couple of off-site programs with special ed custodians, and bus monitors and bus drivers. So bus drivers who service all schools and Barstow, and bus monitors as well. That's the negotiating team, or the negotiating group, and we looked at each of their contracts, which had some differences. So 3 of the 4 work school year. So para-educators, bus monitors, and bus drivers work a school year, and then custodians work year-round. And so what we found in looking at contracts was we wanted 2 more professional training days or in-service days for our para-educators. So this contract increases their days by 2. We also wanted to recognize that all of our neighboring contracts paid this group of employees for holidays. And so we knew we couldn't afford to bring on all of them in 1 year. So this contract would bring on 4 in fiscal year 26 and 4 in the following year, for a total of 8. And that's comparable to all of our neighbors. That affects the school year employees. And then there was no change for the custodians because they're already year-round. And then the last change we made was we took a look at personal leave, and we changed it to personal time off. And we put some restrictions on it. That said, instead of use it or lose it, as it existed now with prior approval, we said you can use it, and if you don't use it, we will pay for it at the end of the year. So hoping that people might be able to save some of that time, because we do struggle with finding substitutes. And there is an additional procedure that if they need to use it, can only take one at a time. The intent is that it's one personal day at a time. It's not intended to extend or create a vacation during the school year. We can't afford to allow people to do that, or we would never be able to operate efficiently. So we added one day to everyone, including the custodians, of what we are now calling a personal time off. And they can take these 4 days at any time during the year, except on what we call red flag days, which are days preceding or following a school vacation. So you can't take it to extend the time of when school is already closed. So the cost of days was challenging. So just to let you know, the cost of additional days for us actually ended up costing about 3.56%. In addition to that, we dropped everyone a year who has the ability to drop. So the contract has not a step for every year, but for a range of years. So the people that were in the bottom of the range that dropped, that was a small piece of the contract, about 0.58%. And then we gave a cost of living increase of 4.67. Overall, this proposal would increase, was new money from this year to next year of 8.8, understanding that a little bit of it was kind of catching up, and then half of it was actually for the additional days, the additional work time. This is within $65,000 of our original budget. And we feel pretty confident that with any changes to healthcare, meaning from one plan to another, and or open and unfilled vacancies, we can absorb this in the budget. So I don't know if anyone has any questions. Did I miss anything? Leslie, did I miss anything? No.
Any questions for Brenda? I thought you had a question.
If you're interested, it was done, negotiations was done in public session, so all of the minutes are online. If you wanted to know more nitty-gritty of what I just said.
Okay. All right, well, if there aren't any other questions, are you ready to vote? Okay, so we will do Otter Valley first. All of those in favor of the new Education Support Professional Master Agreement, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. All those opposed? Okay. And then for RNESU, all those in favor of ratifying the Education Support Professional Master Agreement, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Is there anybody? Yeah, okay. All those opposed? Okay. Then the Education Support Professional Master Agreement is now approved. Thank you for that. We are going to move into executive session, which means that anyone who is not a member of the board or invited in, which would be Renee and Debbie and
What's her name?
Brenda, yeah, we would ask you to step out.